Alright, what is up, everybody? This is General Spear here. Welcome back to another episode of Art Shenanigans. How y'all doing today? Hope you all have a good afternoon, good morning, good evening. This particular video, I wanted to showcase basically another pinup piece that I've been doing. Not for the 501st, but 501st in themed. And this is in conjunction with some of the other pieces that I've been working on. Got Clone Wars stuff right here. I'm actually going to close that one because that one is not ready to show just yet. But this is kind of what I've been doing. I really like using photo references for some of the pieces that I've been doing. And my motto is, because other artists will be like, why use photo references? Why use all of that? But photo references make it such that, if you're drawing something already from, like a video game or a movie or a TV show or something like that, and if you want to get kind of just a generalized idea of what you want, then photo references are a good way to go. Now, this piece, I don't know if I'm necessarily going to sell it because, there's clones here and other things that I could change, but they're not going to be changed enough, unfortunately, for me to be able to sell it. It's very much similar to, still Star Wars, Lucas, Disney stuff, and I don't want to get copyrighted. But when this is done, and I'll let people know, if anybody wants a print of this, feel free to message me and let me know. And I'd be glad to get you a print for that as kind of a little private commission or sillage of the piece itself. That I'm totally fine with. And that's usually pretty acceptable. But what are we going to cover today? First thing what I want to do is address the fact that, first off, and I've been using this in the last few videos, is I've been using Jazza from Draw with Jazza channel, his brush pack that's kind of interspersed throughout my my brush presets here. These are really, really nice brushes, and you can get them at Draw with Jazza's store that I'll link in the description below. They are really, really nice for drawing and for doing finishing lines. There's even a hair and fur texture, which is what this female model's hair is. It's just multiple layers of hair and all that, and I'll probably just go back in with a brush, like a small or maybe even a fine liner, to kind of give more curls and volume and all that. But that's for later, when I actually finish up the piece. But what I want to do right now is I want to focus on this group of clones right here. The reason being is because I want to talk about layering as far as what's in front, what's in back, and all that kind of thing. If you've noticed, I already have the photos pretty much lined up the way I want as far as the layers go. Now I'm actually going to zoom in here real quick. And this is going to be a nice little quick video about layers. Now, as you can tell, at least from this portrait view right here with the three clones here, the images themselves look all mashed. But if you can tell, there's a little bit of layering effect going on. For example, this clone's arm right here is going in front of this clone's arm right here. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to end up drawing this arm right here in full view. And what I find, whether you're drawing either on digital tablet or monitor like I am currently, or if you go ahead and do it on paper, no matter what, you want to think about where your layers add up, or blend in or mesh. For example here, this clone, which is in the Fore view of these three clones in general is going to be completely drawn out because it is the furthest in front clone that we see. The clones on either side have a little bit of not overlapping, more so underlapping in this case, underneath the clone in the forefront. We can tell that this guy's arm is hidden for the most part behind this guy's forearm and bicep. And for this guy, also his arm is hidden, as well as part of his foot. That is really important in terms of creating kind of more of a 3D effect, or rather more so a nice composition as far as what's in front and what's in back. And the best way that we can go about doing that is actually, in this case, drawing the center clone, or whatever you're drawing, the most forefront object first, and that's basically what's mostly in the foreground. That is really, really helpful, and I'm going to demonstrate that by doing this guy's arm first. Because that is going to be the easiest way to demonstrate my point. I'm going to do this guy's arm. And the brushes are really, really nice. These brushes are absolutely amazing. And actually, just in case I can't see that, oops, not that one. Not that one. I want to hide this photo right here so I can kind of see the full spectrum of what I got going on here. There we go. Incidentally, in all the cosplays that I have going on, I am working on and planning out my own clone armor. I'm actually doing 2 sets. One that is a customized set that I've been planning on for over a year now. And the second set will eventually be for submission to the 501st. And for those of you who do not know what the 501st is, it is among one of the largest Star Wars cosplay groups worldwide. It's been around for 20 years, or thereabouts. And as of to this date, I think they've raised several $1 million to various charity organizations around the world. Their slogan is "Bad Guys Doing Good." They're an amazing, amazing group. The costumes that you make must be movie or TV show accurate, because you can do the clones or Jedi. I don't know about the Jedi, but you can do the clones from the Clone Wars TV show, the 2008 animated one. I'm not sure about the 2003. But they are an amazing, amazing group. And what I am going to eventually do for a costume, and I plan to do 2 actually for the 501st. I'm going to do a clone costume with that's based off of one of the ARC troopers. And then, because I also fit the height requirements as well, I'm going to do a Darth Vader costume as well. That's going to be a lot of fun. Because I just found out recently that 6'2", or 6 foot 2 inches tall, or I believe is it 180 some odd centimeters? I can't remember how many centimeters it is. It's 180 some odd, I believe. Or 170, I can't remember. But in any case, I found out that 6'2" is the ideal height for a Vader costume. and I am 6'2", so it works out in my favor. Because anybody can do a Darth Vader costume, but for the 501st, in order to do it, screen accurate, 6'2" is or somewhere around 6 foot is the ideal height for it. And when I found that out, I was like, oh, this has to happen at some point. Doesn't have to happen now, but at some point down the road, it will. The tough part is acquiring all the pieces for all the costumes that I make, is acquiring the pieces and materials. For right now, I'm focusing on the newest costume that I have in the works, which is my Spartan Rex costume. I have held off on working on my Mandalorian costume for right now, because I am undecided of whether I want to make it kind of more of a commando or a sniper. I initially started out wanting it to be a sniper, but then I started playing the updated mod to Star Wars Conquest, which that is now a series at this point, and I hope you all are enjoying that. I'm absolutely loving it. Things are heating up in that campaign. If you've not been keeping up to date with that, we are getting ready for being able to siege Ryloth at this point. Or not Ryloth, Raxus Prime. I'm very, very happy with that mod. But in any case, the Mandalorian Commandos, or snipers, I can't remember which one. The ones with the pauldrons, very similar to that from the Clone Wars. That is an armor that I have fell in love with as far as the concept goes. I really want to try to see if I can implement that in my my Mandalorian build. Okay, so we basically got the idea of the arm here on the outside. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring back in the image here that we had before. Now, see how this arm fits right in front of the other arm here? That is what we're going to talk about. That's the main bulk of what we're going to talk about this particular episode, is foreground and background, and the relationship that they play with one another. Everything in the foreground generally seems to be in front of everything in the background. That's the general rule of thumb. But figuring out how to make that work seamlessly is another thing. And there's multiple ways that you could do that. Of course, it'll come with lines and effects as far as what's in the foreground and what's in the background, as far as, what are the shapes that are in front and back. Shadows and highlights can also play a big part in how you go about making it such that a item in the foreground looks in front of an item in the background, or at least right in front of it. In this case, it's gonna be more so to do with line and shape in front of another object versus shadow and light, because realistically, this guy is not directly on top. This arm is not directly on top of this arm. There's the implication that there's still light hitting this arm as it would be normally hitting this arm. So this arm is not directly on top of this guy. It's still going to receive the same amount of light as this arm here, as well as shadow. So the thing that's going to be important is that we illustrate the shapes of the background objects as much as we can to fit behind this object here. And how we go about doing that is really, really simple. Now that we have this arm drawn, we can actually take this image, make it go away, so we can actually see pretty clearly. And we're just going to take this image here on the same layer that we've been drawing on, and draw right around it. That is what we do. That is what we do there. Kind of just a little implication that there's a piece of armor right there. And actually, what we can do to make this effect better, if we take our blur tool here, kind of just blur that out a little bit, because it's slightly more in the background than this piece. This one is, think of it this way in terms of a camera. Anything that you shoot with a camera in the foreground will be in hyper sharp focus, or usually in hyper sharp focus, while everything in the background is a little bit more blurred. Images like this work on a similar fashion, where everything in the foreground here is going to be slightly sharper than everything in the background. However, this is close enough in the foreground, or close enough to the foreground, in which we don't want it too blurred. We actually want a little bit of sharpness. If, say, the clone were like half the height and much further back, like back here, then it would be much more blurred than it is here. But this kind of creates a nice little effect of this clone here is not as sharp as this clone right here, because this clone is in the foreground and this clone is slightly in the background. That is the thing I wanted to illustrate there. And we're going to go ahead and continue working on the arm here to kind of further illustrate my point. My wife's kitten or cat wants in this room so bad because he knows people are in here, and he wants to be in the same vicinity as his people. He really wants it. It's kind of adorable. Okay. Nope, I don't like where that line is. Right there. There we go. I don't like where that line is either. Still don't like it. There we go. I'll clean that up. And then there we go. Nice lines right there. Okay. There we go. By the way, for those who are wondering what the image I closed up here earlier is, it is another pinup piece that I'm working on. And I work actually from real life images or from models. Sometimes they are nude. And you'll find that actually a lot of artists do that. But for the sake of YouTube, and I have, a few younger members on my channel that are not quite of age, I don't want to get cited. It's not nearly as much of a problem as in Europe as it would be here in the States. For whatever reason, looking at the human body in an artistic way, for whatever reason, is kind of frowned upon here in the U.S. I don't know why, but it is, and that goes for both the female and the male body. I really don't understand it. Everybody's beautiful in their own way. Everybody. Alright. So that pretty much concludes this particular video. I just wanted to showcase that a little bit and really focus on that stuff right there. I wanted to really focus on that and show this to you guys because it's an important drawing technique that I feel like a lot of people don't necessarily go over. I think for a lot of people, especially when they're first getting into art, they don't really go over a lot of the basics. Shapes, where they interact with each other, how lines interact with each other. That looks pretty good right there. That looks pretty good. I just want to see how that looks. Yeah! Yeah, I like that. I like that. And as we go out from this arm right here, we'll get gradually sharper because this part of the clone here is going to come more into focus versus all around here. Ish. That does it for this particular episode, guys, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you all enjoyed this this kind of little impromptu video of art shenanigans. There will be another episode after this, kind of continuing on with our Spartan Rex costume, or not costume, with our Spartan Rex drawing. In that video, we're going to be covering kind of more of the basic shapes and general layout of the armor, figuring out weapons and all that stuff. It's going to be a fun episode, I think. But that's it. That does it for this episode, guys. Please let me know if you want a print of this image when it's done. Also, let me know. Let me see if I can find it. And I showcased this very, very recently. Please let me know if you want a piece or a print of this. I have prints that are on their way right now. That I just got the notification this morning that they say it's, or when at the time of this recording, that they are shipped. So probably by the time this video comes out to you, they will be here. Please let me know if you want a print of this. Also, you can go to my Etsy shop, and I believe I have them up for $25 a print, which is pretty good. They are 11 by 17 inches, and yeah, they're pretty awesome. So let me know, especially for this one. Let me know. Yeah. But thank you all for watching, everybody. Hope you all enjoyed this episode of Art Shenanigans. Please, as always, continue to Hulk smash that like button. Comment in the comment section below if you're new. Do not forget to subscribe. And as always, may the Force be ever in your favor.